A wine glass shattered against a stone wall. The bottle dropped and rolled across the floor. A woman laughed, loud, drunk, sharp, the kind of laugh that comes after too much wine and not enough sleep. She lifted her hands to the empty room and shouted, "I swear it. I'll give myself to the next man who walks through that door." The hall was empty. No one was supposed to hear. She had said it as a joke. To no one. To the walls. Then boots struck the stone outside. 2 sets. Heavy. Slow. The fire in the hearth dropped low. The cold came in before they did. Her name was Mira, and she had just made a promise that, by older laws, could not be taken back. What walked through that arch were not men. What did the vampire kings do when they heard her words? Stay with me. The hall was the inn that her mother had built and her father had run into the ground. It sat at the last bend before the borderlands, where the road stopped pretending to be a road and turned into something the maps did not name. Mira had been there alone since winter. Her mother went first. Her father followed before the snow melted. The inn had 2 rooms upstairs and a common floor, and she could no longer afford the ale that should have filled it. She had been drinking the last of his stock. Not all of it. Enough. That was why she had laughed. That was why she had shouted. The walls had been her audience for 3 months. Tonight she had decided to give them a show. She did not see them come in. The door did not creak. She felt them first. The warmth of the hearth pulled back into the stones. The hair on her arms stood up. The candle on her table dimmed without flickering. When she turned around, 2 men were standing in the middle of the room. They had not been there a heartbeat ago. They were tall, both of them, travel coats, black, boots that had been to places she could not name. The elder one had a face like something carved by patient hands. Pale, sharp, calm. The younger one stood half a step behind him, and his stillness was worse than the elder's gaze. "You called?" the elder said. His voice was quiet, the kind of quiet that did not raise, the kind that did not need to. She tried to laugh. Came out wrong. "I'm closed," she said. "I was singing. I was being a fool. You're free to find a bed somewhere else." "You called," he said again. "We answered." She set down the bottle. Her fingers had gone cold around the glass. "Sirs," she said, "I run a guest house. If you want a room, I'll bring you blankets and bread. The rest of what you heard, that was not for company." The younger one spoke for the first time. Words spoken aloud, in a hearth hall, by a woman of the household. Those are not for nothing. Those bind. His voice was lower than his brother's. Slower, as if he had to lift each word out of a place far down inside him. "We accept," the elder said. "Accept what?" "What was offered." She felt the floor tilt. She stayed standing only because her hand had found the back of a chair without her telling it to. "Get out," she said. "Both of you, get out of my house." Neither moved. "You don't know what was offered," she said. Her voice was rising and she could not lower it. "I was angry. I was drunk. I was talking to the walls. I was joking." "A joke," the elder said, "is words. Words are what we are made of." He set something on the table between them. It was a coin, black, larger than a thumbnail, heavier than it looked. The light did not catch on it the way light catches on metal. "This is a courtesy," he said. "We could have taken what was promised tonight. We are giving you until the next dark moon. 11 days. Run if you wish. Pray if you wish. The bond does not break for distance, and it does not break for prayer." He turned. His brother turned with him. At the doorway the younger one paused. He looked back at her over his shoulder. He did not look at her body. He looked at her face, at her eyes, long enough that she knew he was reading something. "My brother is being polite," he said. "I am the one you should fear." Then they were gone. The door had not opened. The door had not closed. They were simply not there anymore. Mira sat down. Her legs gave first. The chair caught her. The coin lay on the table where the elder had set it. She watched it for a long time. She did not touch it. When she finally did, it was warm as a hand that had only just been lifted away. The morning came in pale and cold. Mira had not slept. She had spent the night staring at the coin on the table. By dawn she had convinced herself the men had been thieves. Then madmen. Then a dream. The third one held longest. She had been drunk. She had been grieving. The mind invented company when the silence got bad enough. She put the coin in a wooden box with the rest of her father's odd things and pushed the box to the back of the mantel. She washed her face. She tied her hair back. She opened the inn at the usual hour. Nobody came until midday. The first man through the door was old Garrick, a peat cutter from the next valley who passed through twice a year. He came in stamping snow from his boots and asking for hot water. She poured it. He put coppers on the bar. Then he saw the mantle. The cup stopped halfway to his mouth. He set it down, as if it had grown heavy. "Where did you get that?" She looked. The lid had not closed all the way. The black edge of the coin was just visible. A traveler left it. 2 of them. Last night. He stared at the coin. He stared back at her. He did not finish his water. He did not pick up his coppers. He walked out of her inn and out of her village, and he did not look back once. An hour later the priest came. Father Athen had buried both her parents. He was old, kind, slow to speak. When he stepped through her door his eyes went to the mantle the way Garrick's had. "Mira!" He crossed the room without waiting for greeting. He took the box down. He lifted the coin out with the corner of his stole, as if he did not want his skin to touch it. He set it back down. He sat across from her. He took her hands in his. His hands were shaking. "Tell me how this came to be in your house." She told him. All of it. The wine. The shouting. What they had said. What she had said. He listened without interrupting. When she was done, he closed his eyes for a long time. "Child," he said, "you have heard the old stories. The ones we tell at midwinter. The kings under the mountain." "Father, they are not stories, Mira. They are old. They are real. And they take what is promised." "I didn't promise anything." "You did. You spoke aloud. In your own hall, past sundown, with wine in your blood. The old laws do not care if you laughed. Only 2 of these walk these lands. Brothers. The last of their line. Kings of a kind in a place we do not go. What do they want? You, as they said." She pulled her hands back. She stood up. "Then I run. Tonight, I'll go south. I'll go to the city. I'll go to my mother's people on the coast." "Throw the coin in running water first," he said. "If it sinks, you have a chance. If it does not, child, no road will save you." "Why?" "Because that coin is theirs. The bond has begun. Distance does not end it." She took the coin to the river behind the inn an hour later. She did not let herself look at it. She threw it as far as she could into the deep middle of the current. It went under. She was already walking back to the inn when she felt the weight in her pocket again. She did not believe it at first. She put her hand in. The coin was there, warm, drying. She walked back to the river. This time she tied the coin in a cloth weighted with 3 river stones. She walked an hour upstream and buried it under a flat rock at the bottom of a deep pool. By the time she reached her front door, it was on the threshold, warm and dry and waiting. She packed her bag. She put on her mother's heaviest cloak. She put the coin in a leather pouch around her neck because there did not seem to be any point in pretending it was not part of her. She walked out of the inn at dusk. She took the south road. She did not run. She walked steady. Steady was what people did who were not running. The crossroads were 2 miles out. The sun was sitting on the line of the hills. A figure stood at the crossroads. She had not seen him on the road. He had not been there a moment before. He was simply standing there, very still, in a long black coat, watching her come. It was the younger brother. He did not move. He did not speak. When she was within 10 paces, she stopped. "I'm leaving," she said, loud, clear, so that whatever bond there was would hear her words. "I do not consent. I did not promise. I'm walking past you and I'm leaving." He waited until she was finished. "Run if you wish," he said. "The bond runs faster." "What does that mean?" "It means I will be where you are. So will my brother. We do not need to chase you. We are already there." "I didn't mean what I said." "We did." She started walking again. She passed him close enough to feel the cold come off his coat. He did not turn his head. He let her go. 20 paces past him she heard a horn. It came from a long way off. Low. Hunting. 3 short notes and a long. She turned. He was no longer looking at her. His head was tipped back. His eyes had closed. He looked, for the first time, like something that could be hurt. When he opened his eyes, he looked older. "You're being hunted," he said. "Not by us." "What?" He vanished. She did not see him move. She did not see him turn. He was simply not there anymore. She stood alone at the crossroads. Birds were finishing their evening calls. The horn did not sound again. The road behind her was empty. The road ahead was empty. She told herself very calmly that she had been seeing things. She turned around. She walked home. She sat down at the kitchen table. She lit a single candle. She picked up her mother's prayer book from the shelf where it had been since the funeral. She opened it to the page her mother used to read on quiet evenings. The house was warm. The candle was steady. Outside it was almost dark. She let her shoulders down. For the first time since the night before, she let her shoulders down. Then the front door opened. 3 of them came in. They did not knock. They did not greet. They closed the door behind them with the soft care of people who had decided, before stepping inside, that nobody would be leaving. They were not the brothers. These were shorter, leaner. Their coats were gray, not black. Their eyes did not reflect the candle the way human eyes did. The one in front spoke. His voice was almost polite. Mira of the Borderlands, daughter of an innkeeper, spoke a vow. "Where's a king's coin? Get out of my house. We will. With you, or with your body. Both serve." She moved before she let herself think. The kettle was on the hook over the fire. It had been steaming for an hour. She grabbed it by the iron handle and threw the contents across the room. The water hit the lead one in the face. He did not scream. He hissed. A sound she had never heard a human make and would never forget. The skin on his face came up in stripes. She was already running for the stairs. She made it to the second step before something hit her ribs from behind. She slammed into the banister. Pain. Real pain. She kicked back without looking and felt her boot connect with something. She got up. She kept climbing. The window at the top of the stairs exploded inward. Glass. Wind. A coat snapping like a sail. A man landed on the landing in front of her in a crouch, and when he straightened up she saw it was the elder brother. He looked past her, down the stairs, at the 3. His face did not change at all. That was somehow the worst part. "Mira," he said. He did not look at her. "Behind me. Now." She moved behind him. What happened next she could not describe later, even when she tried. She saw the elder move once. She saw the front door come off its hinges and the younger brother come through it. She saw the lead intruder, the one she had scalded, try to speak. She saw him not finish the sentence. There were 3 of them when it began. There were 2 on the floor when it ended. The third was gone. Not dead. Gone. Out a window. Faster than she could see. The brothers did not look at the bodies. They looked at her. She was on the landing with her back against the wall. The kettle was still in her hand. She had been holding it the whole time. She did not remember holding it. "Who were they?" she said. "Council enforcers," the elder said. "Sent to break the bond by breaking you. Break the bond. You die, the claim dies. They have laws older than ours about what may be claimed. You are mortal. You should not have been claimed. Now that we have, they would prefer you were dead. She slid down the wall. She sat on the top step. This is not real. It is real. This is not a thing that happens. It is happening. She put her face in her hands. She laughed. It was not a healthy laugh. You came, she said, into her hands. I called and you came. So they came too. Yes. Because I made a joke. Because you spoke a vow. She lifted her head. Do not stand in my house with 2 dead men on my floor and tell me I made a vow. The younger brother spoke from below. He was at the foot of the stairs. Then call it whatever you like. The result is the same. They will keep coming until you are theirs entirely or you are dead. There is no third door. She looked at him. She looked at the elder. You said I had until the dark moon. That was when the world was still ordering itself by our laws. Tonight the council has voted. We did not know they would move this fast. We came as soon as we did. She stood up. She had to hold the wall. I want to know what's been done to me. Show her, the younger brother said. The elder came up the steps slowly. He stopped 2 stairs below her so that she was looking down at his face. He took her hand. He turned it palm up. He pushed back the cuff of her sleeve. On the inside of her wrist, where she had not looked since yesterday morning, there was a faint silver mark. 2 interlocking circles, the size of a small coin. It had not been there before. That is the vow mark, he said. It was not there when you laughed. It was there when we left. Take it off. It is not taken off. Take it off. Mira. She pulled her hand back. She held her wrist. The younger brother climbed the stairs. He stopped beside his brother. He spoke to her quietly. You said something that bound you. We answered. The mark is what answered says back. There is one of these on each of us as well. It is honored or it is broken. Breaking it is what they tried to do to you tonight. You're saying it's both of you. It is both of us. She closed her eyes. And what do you want? She said. Quiet. Not afraid anymore. Just tired enough to ask. What does it actually mean? To be claimed. By 2. The younger brother did not answer. The elder did. It means, he said, that you are now the one mortal in this world. We will both die before we let be touched again. She opened her eyes. He was looking at her the way nobody had ever looked at her. Not as a woman. Not as a body. As a thing he had decided completely was his to keep alive. She did not know yet what to do with that. But she let her shoulders down a second time. If you're still with me, and I know this story is asking a lot of you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Because what happens next changes everything Mira thought she understood about who had power in this room. Stay with me. She slept 4 hours. Maybe 3. When she came down in the morning, the bodies were gone. The broken door was back on its hinges. The window glass was back in the frame. There was no sign anyone had ever fought in her house. The brothers were sitting at her table. The elder had a cup in front of him. He was not drinking from it. The younger brother was looking at the fire. Where did the bodies go? Where they should not be found. We are not the only ones who hide what we do. She stayed standing. She crossed her arms. I have something to say. The elder inclined his head. You said last night that you would die before I'm touched. Both of you. You said it like it was settled. It is settled. Then I have leverage. The younger brother looked up from the fire for the first time. I'm yours, she said. You said. The mark says. I won't pretend I understand it yet. I will. But here is the part you both seem to have skipped. If I'm yours on terms. Neither brother spoke. I am not cargo. I am not a prize you carry off. If I belong to you, I have a voice in the belonging. If I do not, then you can let the council take me, because there is no version of this where I am owned and silent. The elder's face did something it had not done before. The corner of his mouth moved. Half a smile, possibly. Hard to be sure. Speak your terms. I want truth. The whole truth every time I ask. About what I am to you. About what was done. About what comes next. You don't decide what I'm allowed to know. Granted. I want time. I am not yours by yesterday morning. I will be yours. Maybe. By a road that I walk. Granted. And I want my name kept. I am Mira. I am not the bond. I am not the claim. Both of you will use it. The younger brother stood up. He came around the table. He stopped in front of her. He was much taller than she had let herself notice. Mira, he said. It was the first time either of them had said it. That's better, she said. The room got cold. It was not the brothers this time. It was something else. The candles dimmed. The fire pulled back into the stones. Outside, the birds went quiet all at once. The elder was already on his feet. They put themselves between her and the door. The door opened. 3 figures came in. They were taller than the enforcers had been. Older. Their faces were not cruel. Their faces were nothing. 300 years of not needing to feel had wiped the cruelty off long ago. The one in front carried no weapon. He did not need to. Voivode, the elder said. He did not bow. He did not move from in front of her. Brothers. The voivode's voice sounded as if it came from underground. We came to handle this ourselves, since our envoys did not return. Your envoys broke into a hearth hall under the king's mark and attacked a vowed mortal. They were corrected. They were performing the council's will. They were trespassing. The voivode looked past the elder. He looked at her. Child. My name is Mira. His eyes did not change. But he tipped his head a fraction, the way a hawk tips its head at something small that has spoken. Mira, I have come to spare you what is coming. The bond on your wrist is a mistake. A drunken word answered too quickly. We can unmake the mark. You will live. You will forget. They cannot let you go. I can. By killing me. By dissolving the vow. The body lives. The vow does not. You walk out of this room remembering nothing of 2 kings. She felt her wrist warm under her sleeve. The mark. Why are you offering this? Because we do not permit mortals to be claimed. Because this household will become a war if it is not unmade. Because the brothers have made a mistake, and somewhere they know it. She looked at the elder. She looked at the younger brother. Neither of them looked at her. That was the answer she needed. They were not going to argue for themselves. They were leaving the choice to her. She stepped out from behind them. The voivode watched her come. The brothers did not stop her. My lord, she said. She used the word because she wanted him to hear that she could use it and still mean nothing by it. I made a vow last night. I made it without thinking. It is on me. I will not have it dissolved. You do not understand. I do. My understanding is what I am bringing to it now. She turned to face the elder. She turned to face the younger brother. She held up her wrist with the mark on it. I, Mira of the Borderlands, take the bond freely. By my voice. While awake. While sober. While afraid of nothing in this room. The mark on her wrist flared silver. Bright, then steady. There were 2 answering flares she did not see. One on each brother's chest, under the coats. The voivode took 1 step back. He had not moved out of fear in 200 years. He moved now. You cannot. I have, she said. It is done. Witnessed by you, my lord, and by the laws older than your council. You came to dissolve a drunken accident. You witnessed instead a sober vow. The voivode looked at her for a long time. You have made yourself a war, he said. Then I will be in a war, she said. On my own feet, not on my back. He turned. He left. The other 2 followed. The door closed. The room was warm again before the door had finished closing. For a long time none of them spoke. The elder said, finally, I did not expect that. You said you wanted my voice in the bond. You got it. The younger brother looked at her like she had walked through a wall and come out a different person on the other side. What is your name? She said. Varen. And you? Cale. Then Cale. Varen. She set her hands on the table to stop them from shaking, because they had finally started. We have things to discuss. They left her alone for the rest of that day. She did not ask them to. They simply went outside and stayed there, the way men stand watch on a house that matters to them. She moved around the inn slowly. She did the things you do when something is ending. She washed the cups. She swept the hearth. She checked the rooms upstairs for what she would take and what she would leave. She left almost everything. In the late afternoon, Father Athen came up the path. He stopped when he saw the two figures standing in her yard. He did not turn around. He kept walking. He passed between them as if they were trees. He came inside without knocking. He sat at her table. He looked at her for a long time without saying anything. When he spoke, his voice was different than it had been the day before. Not afraid. Tired in a way that was almost peaceful. Word travels, he said, even where I do not think it does. I have heard what was decided. I came to see if you were still you. I'm still me. He nodded. Your mother chose your father, you know. He was not an innkeeper before her. Her family did not speak to her for 2 years after the wedding. She did not change her mind. He became what he became because she chose him into being. Choosing change is a thing, Mira. Whatever you have walked into it on your own feet now. I will not bless what those two are. I will bless that you are not being carried. He took her hand. He blessed her quietly. He did not bless the brothers. He did not condemn them. He stood up. He kissed the top of her head, the way he had at her father's funeral. At the door he stopped. If you ever need a road home, the inn will be standing. I'll see to it. Then he was gone. She finished her packing alone. In the bottom of her mother's chest, wrapped in a square of green cloth, she found the silver locket, the one she had thrown into the fire the night before everything began. She did not remember pulling it out. She must have. The chain was charred. The face of it was half melted, the engraving on one side gone smooth. The other side still had the small flower her mother had loved. She put it on. She tucked it under her collar against her skin. She walked out of the inn at the same hour she had walked out the night before. Toward dusk. The light long. The road quiet. The brothers were at the crossroads. 2 horses with them. A third saddled and waiting. She stopped halfway between the inn and them. She turned around. She looked at the building. It was not much. A low stone house with a slate roof. A garden gone to seed. A sign over the door that her father had carved by hand. She walked back to the threshold. She lit a candle and set it inside the door. For her mother. For her father. For the woman she had been the night she shouted at the walls. She closed the door. She walked to the crossroads. When she got there, Cale held out his hand to help her into the saddle. She did not take it. She mounted on her own. He did not make a thing of it. He stepped back. Varen rode up beside her. He looked at her without speaking for a long time. You could have run, he said finally. We would have come for you, but you could have tried. Last night, this morning, even when the voivode opened that door, you did not run. I did try. Yesterday, at the river, with the coin. Yes, I was tired of running by today. He almost smiled. It was a small thing and it took years off his face. And what now? She said. Now we ride, Cale said. You will see our hall. You will meet what is left of our court. You will learn what you have taken on. We will tell you the truth of every part, because that was your first term. And me, what do I do? You decide, Varen said. Daily, whether you stay. The bond does not force a heart. It only makes one impossible to break by anyone who is not yours. The rest is yours. Both of you. Both of us, Cale said. She did not answer that. Not yet. She was not ready for that part. She would be or she would not. She set her heels to her horse. The three of them rode out of the crossroads together. South first, then east where the road bent, then up into the hills where the maps did not name the country. She did not look back. In her sleeve, against her skin, the mark on her wrist sat warm. Not burning, just steady. The way something sits when it is not a wound and not a chain, when it is a word she had spoken twice and the second time had meant. She had said it the first time as a joke. To no one. To the walls. She said it again now under her breath, as the horses found their pace. She meant it. The night closed in around the road, and for the first time in a long time she was not afraid.